Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Dadako na tayo sa last part ng chapter 3 natin, which is monitoring and evaluation in policy analysis. Okay, so sa monitoring and evaluation in policy analysis, madami po tayong pag-uusapan. We will include functions of monitoring, sources of information for monitoring, monitoring policy outcomes, approaches, and techniques. Sa evaluation naman, pag-usapan natin yung policy performance, criteria for policy evaluation, which is ulit natin, i-discuss din natin last time, approaches to policy evaluation. So, as you have recalled, natapos na natin ang problem structuring, forecasting, prescription. Ngayon, tapusin natin tong pang-apat at 5. So, pag sinabi nating monitoring, by definition, we are talking about monitoring the methods for monitoring observe policy outcomes and provide information about the consequences of adopting policies, thus assisting in the policy implementation phase. Ang monitoring po natin ay anong ginagawa niya? They observe policy outcomes. Ano kayang nangyari doon sa policy pinopose natin? Ganun lang naman yan. And then, we provide information about what? The consequences of adopting the policies. Kung ano yung prefer mo o yung ma-prescribe mong policy based on your policy options, and the criteria for prescription mo is i-assess mo ngayon kung ano yung consequences niya. And ina-assess po niya yung trabaho ng mga policymakers natin in the implementation phase, so policy implementation phase. Ano ba ang trabaho ng monitoring? Ano ba ang ginagawa sa monitoring? Anong tinitingnan niya? Una is compliance. So monitoring helps to determine whether the actions of a program managers are in compliance with what? Norms, values, and standards mandated by legislatures, regulatory agencies, and professional associations, for instance. Pangalawang ginagawa is auditing. Pag nagmo-monitor ka, you are looking at the compliance of the policy to the norms, values, standards of policies or procedures. Ito naman, auditing. Ano ba ang ginagawa sa monitoring? Pwede ding auditing. You audit, you monitor the resources. You monitor what? Whether the resources and services na intended for the target groups and beneficiaries actually reach them. So, tinitignan mo ngayon kung yung pera ba nagamit ng maayos doon sa resources ng policy prescribed na pinopose mo. Okay, so parang COA kumbaga. Trabaho ng COA, mag-audit. Pangatlo ay mag-account. So monitoring produces what? Information that is helpful in accounting. So nakakatulong po siya when it comes to accounting, yung monitoring. And then, it helps to produce information that is helpful in accounting for social and economic changes that follow the implementation of policies. The term accounting for na sinasabi dito is it means tracking, measuring, and explaining the changes that result from a policy. The next thing na ginagawa or nangyayari or naitutulong ng monitoring is explanation. So, monitoring also yields information that helps explain why the outcomes of public policies and programs ay magkakaiba. So, kung mayroong problema sa mga batas na in-implement ng gobyerno natin, yung monitoring po ay nakakatulong para mag-provide ng information para ma-explain kung bakit madaming ghost projects, madaming ghost beneficiaries, kung bakit madaming ghost teachers, ghost teachers, kung bakit madaming ghost, basta ghost lata na, yung mga negative things, ina-explain po ng monitoring doon, nagpo-provide po siya ng information para ma-justify yung implementation or yung nangyari sa auditing, sa accounting, and sa compliance ng policy na sinabatas natin. Okay? So, sources of information for monitoring. So, kanina, ito yung mga ginagawa natin sa monitoring at naitutulong ng monitoring. Saan galing yung mga information na minomonitor natin? To monitor policies, information must be relevant. Dapat reliable siya, important siya, significant siya, and valid. So, dapat yung sources of information natin ay, syempre, reliable stakeholders din. Like, for example, LGUs, mga local government units natin. What else na pwedeng panggalingan ng information? Private research institutes. What else? Universities. What else? National government agencies. What else? Research centers. Books. Monographs. Kung sinabi pong monographs, ito po yung comprehensive, detailed, and scholarly work na kalimitan ay libro din. Pero ang focus niya is hindi sa pangmalawakan. Ang focus niya ay specific topic. Single topic lang. Kaya siya tinawag na monographs. Kumpara sa books, napakadaming aspetong tinatalakay. What else? Ano pang mga sources of information natin para ma-monitor natin? Kunyari, magkakandak ka ng research. Gusto mong tingnan, i-monitor kung nagawa ba yung mga proyekto ng LGUs natin. Siyempre, babasa ka ng napakadaming documents. And kasama dito yung mga articles and reports from different stakeholders. There are also types of policy outcomes. So yung policy outcomes, ito po yung ina-assess natin sa monitoring, di ba? Tinitingnan natin kung ano na yung nangyari. Types of policy outcomes includes policy outputs. So in monitoring policy outcomes, kailangan po nating i-determine kung ano yung output at ano yung impact ng policy na in-implement natin. Ang policy output po ay tumutukoy saan? Sa goods, sa services, and sa monetary resources na nare-receive natin. Na-receive ng batas or na pre-propose natin nung in-implement natin. Anong naging resulta? Malaki ba ang na-provide na services? Madami bang naging beneficiary? Policy impact is the changes in behavior or attitudes that result from policy output. So, hindi magkakaroon ng policy impact kung walang policy output, kung walang resulta, kung walang output, kung walang data, or kung walang nangyari doon sa batas, paano magkakaroon ng impact? Ang impact po ay hindi lang po epekto or effectiveness. It is a long term. Ang basehan po ng policy impact is long term po siya. Like 3 years, 5 years, bago mo i-evaluate ang isang batas. Makita mo yung impact ng batas. May nagbago ba sa pamumuhay ng mga taong nakatanggap ng project, ng program, or ng policy na in-implement? That is policy impacts. After we determine the policy outcome, pag nalaman na natin ano yung epekto, ano yung resulta, we will now develop policy actions. Nalaman mo na, ito pala yung naging epekto, ito naging pagbabago sa komunidad because of our policy. Ngayon, we will now develop anong magiging action natin. What are the policy actions in response to the results of monitoring policy outcomes? So take note, kanina, anong minomonitor natin ay mga policy outcomes. Doon sa policy outcomes, mayroong iba't ibang klase ng outcomes. Pwedeng outputs and pwedeng impact. And then, kapag nalaman na natin yung policy outcome, yung naging resulta, papabayaan ba natin? Gagawa tayo ng response. That is the policy actions. At meron pong iba't ibang klase ng response doon sa mga outcomes na nakita natin, na-assess natin, na-monitor natin. Una is regulative actions. It is designed to what? To ensure compliance. So kung nakita mo yung batas na pre-propose ay hindi sumunod ang mga tao o kaya walang nangyari sa batas, syempre, ang gagawin mo is to strengthen the batas. O kaya magkakaroon ka mag-provide ka ng recommendation to what? To empower the people in complying with the law. So regulative actions po yan. So it is designed to ensure compliance with certain standards or procedures. Allocative actions naman, ito naman ay dinisenyo para i-require yung inputs of resources. Dahil nakita mo na yung output ay medyo substandard yung mga proyekto, ng gobyerno, ng eskwelahan, o kaya naman mga drainage systems, siguro kulang sa budget. Kulang ulit sa budget, no? Pagkakalaki-laki na nga eh. Pwedeng kulang sa tao, pwedeng kulang sa manpower pagdating sa monitoring. Hindi na assess na maayos kahit may COA, di ba? Hindi na monitor ng maayos. So ang magiging policy action mo is to allocate resources, to allocate, to require input. O kailangan pa ng pera dito, kailangan pa ng oras, kailangan pa ng tao, kailangan pa ng equipment. So no, please note that however, all regulative actions require resource inputs. Ang regulative and allocative actions po are implemented by national and local government as well as the municipal agencies in the form of programs and projects. So lahat po ng policy outcomes na na-assess naging resulta based on sa implementation, ginagawa ng policy action in the form of programs and projects. Yung programs and projects na po na yun ay magpo-fall po siya dito sa dalawang types of policy actions. Moreover, under policy actions, it also involves the development of policy inputs and policy processes. So, kapag meron ka ng regulative and allocative actions, ang gagawin mo ngayon ay magde-develop ka ng policy inputs and policy processes para mag-produce again ng alin? Policy outputs and policy impact. So, dahil nga nakita mong mahina, nag-regulate ka ng certain procedure, nagbigay ka ng certain procedure para ma-strengthen yung isang batas. And then nag-allocate ka ng mas malaking budget. Yun yung magiging policy input mo dun sa batas mismo. And then yung batas, pag na-implement ulit, mag-produce ulit siya ng policy output and policy impacts. Pag pinag-usapan po natin ng policy input, ito po yung mga resources, time, money, personnel, na ina-allocate natin in order to produce policy outputs. Ang policy processes naman, these are the administrative, organizational, and political activities and attitudes that shape the transformation of policy inputs into policy outputs and impacts. There are approaches to monitoring. Ano yung mga approaches in monitoring? Una is social systems accounting. Pangalawa is social experimentation and social auditing and research and practice synthesis. Pag pinag-usapan natin ng social systems accounting is accounting. Ulit-ulit na. It is an approach and set of methods that permit analysts to monitor the changes in objective and subjective social conditions over time. So in other words, ang social systems accounting po ay it's like keeping track of society's progress. So ano yung track, ano yung progress nung batas. Not just money, but also people's well-being and living conditions. So, tinutulungan po mga analysts natin para ma-measure and ma-monitor yung mga pagbabago in both objective conditions gaya ng employment, health, education, at saka subjective conditions gaya ng happiness or satisfaction over time. Pagdating naman sa social experimentation, ito na po yung para siyang testing a policy before applying it on a large scale. Para ma-monitor mo kung gaano kaganda yung outcome ng policy, kailangan mo daw makita muna yung para siyang testing a policy before applying. It involves trying out a new policy or program on a small group first. So parang experiment ka muna. Ito ba epektibo sa mga estudyante o para sa mga teacher lang? Kumbaga ganun. So you will now compare the results between different groups or methods as well as policymakers can identify the best solution to social problems. In social auditing naman, ito naman yung way to check if resources really reach the people they are meant. So kanina, social experimentation ngayon, social auditing. Tinitrace nito yung path of policy implementation from input to the actual impacts on people. Pag sinabi nating research and practice synthesis, ang approach na ito ay tumutukoy sa reviewing and combining results from past studies and experiences. Para ma-monitor mo daw yung outcome, policy outcome na in-implement is kailangan mo tingnan yung mga past studies and experiences. And then you combine it with the present outcome, policy outcome. It helps to identify what strategies have worked or failed in different places and improves future decision making. Meron po tayong mga techniques sa paggawa ng monitoring. Una is mga graphic displays para ma-present kung ano yung resulta ng o kung ano yung mga policy outcomes. Pag graphic displays, these are tools, visual tools like charts, graphs, and diagrams. Pag tabular displays, syempre tabular tables naman yung presentation ng monitoring nila. Pag index numbers, ito naman yung kung gaano nagbago. How much something changes over time for a particular area compared to starting point. Kunyari, medyo tumaas, may index called, ang tawag po doon is base year. Kumbaga, it usually sets as 100 yung index numbers. And it helps monitor trends in prices, pollution, or other policy outcomes. For example of this index, mga like health index, mga ganyan, economic index, poverty index, mga ganyan. So, interrupted time series naman, time series analysis, dami no, daming technique. Pinaka-common yan, graphic and tabular as well as index. Itong interrupted time series analysis, ito naman yung tumitingin sa mga data before and after the policy is implemented. So, para alin? Para makita nila kung yung policy ay merong pagbabago. Yung implementation, dahil dun sa bagong policy, meron bang nangyari? Ang tawag doon is, it's interrupted because the policy action interrupts the normal trend of data. And lastly, we have, last two, we have the control series analysis. Ang control series analysis is like comparing two groups over time. One that experienced a policy change and another that did not. To see if the change was really caused by the policy. Kasi minsan, yung mga batas po natin ay sa tingin natin, ang laki ng tulong. Pero yun pala, hindi yun yung nakatulong. Ang daming mga factors na pwede nating tignan. So sa control series analysis, we are comparing two groups over time o different factors over time. It builds on interrupted analysis, interrupted time series analysis, pero it adds a control group for comparison. The last one is regression discontinuity analysis. Sa regression discontinuity analysis, ito naman yung, kung familiar ka sa regression analysis sa statistics, ito naman yung method to use compare outcomes between two groups, one that is received a policy benefit and one that does not. Often, because the benefit can't be given to everyone. Ibig sabihin, it's used when resources are limited and only certain people qualify based on a cutoff or score. So may comparison ulit para ma-monitor mo kung may pagbabago ba or wala. May relationship ba yung batas na na-implement dun sa impact na nangyari. So, ganoon. Evaluation. Anong pinagkaiba ng monitoring sa evaluation? Yung monitor is to check. Evaluate is to check. Is to assess. Meron kang mode of assessment. Sa monitoring, you are looking at the data, looking at the different documents, different resources, different yung mga existing data. Evaluation is methods for evaluating observed policy outcomes yield policy relevant information about discrepancies. So tinitingnan mo na dito kung ano yung mga information na merong discrepancies, na merong pagkakaiba. So hindi sa evaluation, lagi pong magkasama yung monitoring and evaluation. When you monitor, you're already evaluating. Kasama dun sa evaluation. And then, ina-assist po niya in the policy assessment and adoption phases. Alright. Evaluation also refers to the production of information about the value or worth of a policy outcome. So, hindi mo lang tinitingnan kung ano yung naging outcome, but also, you are quantifying it about its value or worth for the society. And the criteria for evaluation, kung ito nga ba ay valuable, yung impact ba ay sustainable or impactful o kaya beneficial, kailangan mo tignan daw yung mga criteria na to. Pinag-usapan na natin to last time. So, balikan nyo na lang. Effectiveness, efficiency, adequacy, equity, responsiveness, appropriateness. There are different approaches to evaluation. Una is pseudo-evaluation. Pseudo-evaluation. Pag sinabi natin pseudo-evaluation, it appears to be objective, pero sa totoo lang, it is subjective. It appears to be objective, but it is actually biased. Bakit? Sa evaluation kasi, sometimes, pinapakita natin na tama yung ginawa nating proseso. Pero the truth is, dinoktor lang pala natin yung sistema. Naging bias pala tayo. Common po yan sa mga research. Diba? Dahil sa medyo komplikado yung research, we do pseudo-evaluation. Pseudo-evaluation. So instead of focusing on whether the policy really works, ang ginagawa pa natin is we use to justify decisions already made or to make the program look good. For example, kung ang local government natin ay nagra-run o merong clean city program, instead of hiring independent evaluators, yung mga external evaluators, ang ginagawa po ng mayor ay nag-a-assign na lang siya ng staff para mag-evaluate, which is biased. Diba? At ito namang mga staff na nag-evaluate, syempre, ano sasabihin nila? Taga-city sila. They will implement pseudo-evaluation. Parang dumaan yan sa dumaan yan sa evaluation, dumaan yan sa masusing proseso. Sa totoo lang, naman pala, scripted. They only highlight the positive feedback, pero they ignore complaints. Familiar ba kayo dito? Tatanong ang mga politiko, kamusta ang mga ang barangay ninyo? Maganda. Kasi nakapagpatayo na ng covered court, pero sa totoo lang, mas marami ang complaint. Walang gamot. May covered court, wala namang gamot. Diba? May covered court, wala namang tao sa barangay hall. So, ang tendency, ang gagawin ng evaluator is they will become subjective. Dahil nga kasama, may bias na. The result looks impressive on paper, maganda sa papel, pero the truth is, pseudo-evaluation pala siya. Because it hides the real situation and serve political interest. We also have formal evaluation. Pag formal evaluation, systematic approach whether a policy is effective. So gumagamit na po siya, hindi na po siya bias. Gumagamit na po siya ng data, gumagamit na po siya ng result methods, research methods, and evidence-based analysis para ma-measure yung program outcomes against the goals. Pag decision theoretic evaluation naman, ang pinag-usapan natin, it's about making rational choices or best decision between different options. So ang focus niya is helping policymakers na magkaroon ng rational choices. Kung magamit po siya ng models, probabilities, and cost-benefit analysis. To sum up, ito po yung mga discuss natin. We talk about monitoring and evaluation. The function, sources, the policy outcomes, approaches, techniques, and performance, as well as approaches and criteria for policy evaluation. Do you have any question? No answer. Okay, class, this is. Kung meron po kayong question, ilagay nyo na lang po sa comment section. Kung meron po kayong clarification or objection, please feel free to correct me or feel free to suggest or recommend or to provide information related to the topic. Okay? So, thank you so much for listening and see you again next time.